And I'm going to end you, like I started you, with some footage of a bunch of men, with some men with guns that have to be blurred out. In the beginning, it was people from CJNG and Chapisa pledging allegiance to this new alliance. And this one is the old man, Jorge Ochoa. The only time he ever went to court, he was heard the courts were looking for him, so he showed up to the court with 4 guys with automatic machine guns. And I'm going to blur this out too, but he walked into court, went to the judge's chamber, said, "I heard you're looking for me."
This is one of the last times a big cartel boss, Fabio Ochoa, was called in for questioning. Ochoa showed up at the Bogota courthouse surrounded by 4 bodyguards carrying machine guns, and they went unchallenged right into the judge's chambers. Ochoa was quickly released, and no charges were ever brought.
The judge said, "Oh, well, I guess there was some misunderstanding," and he walked out. And that brief time in the judge's chambers was the only time the father of the 3 main architects of the Colombian business, I mean, there were many, but probably the biggest family in it of all, the only time he set foot even in a court is when he showed up with his own gunmen. And so think about what I predicted, and it's happening. They're making a public spectacle of bringing down the Fetty Wap. They're moving into other businesses, the oil with the Mormon family. If they caught that, imagine what type of stuff else is going on. I just did a story about the wildlife trafficking with the Mexican and Chinese criminal groups.
A lot of important people here say the days of fighting the drug bosses in Colombia are over, that Colombia has paid just too high a price. There has been so much bloodshed, so much killing, that the Colombians are numb. No one is safe. The Attorney General was murdered in January when he went to Medellin to investigate the cartel. And when the Attorney General was buried, the president of the country did not come, reportedly because he feared for his own life. And now the new Attorney General says Colombia should not make war on the drug cartel, it should make peace with the cartel by simply legalizing the cocaine business. In fact, it's been years since the big drug bosses here have had much to fear from Colombian judges or prosecutors.
Colombia's economy was permanently changed by the amount of money that went in there in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And global coca production is at an all-time high now. It's just that Western Europe now is the biggest market. U.S. is still a big market, but we take all these other things that are being produced, and our tastes have grown to include other things than yayo. But history repeats itself. The more things change, the more they stay the same. And we're seeing, just like the families at the top of the food chain in Colombia back then, some of them went out bad, but the smart ones made tens of billions, suffered some consequences, but not that many. And many people made a lot of money and really weren't punished. And we're going to see the same thing in Mexico, and it'll be interesting to see how many years of a plea bargain Chapo's sons make. We're seeing the Fetty deaths fall, the Fetty seizures fall. Trump will be able to take credit for it, but they brought down, they made it seem like they had fixed America's drug problem with the fall of Don Escobar back in the day. And of course, things are much worse now. So just think about if you're having a Chapisa cutting this deal to turn in Mayo and whatever else is going on. Meanwhile, they're allying with CJNG, and we're seeing oil being sent up to family in Utah. What the hell else might be going on? Usually things actually end up getting worse, but they have this public spectacle that makes it seem like they're fixing stuff at a profit, and that was some real American dope.
Aid packages being delivered in Mexico's second largest city, Guadalajara. The pictures on the boxes are of famed drug lord Joaquin Guzman, the former cartel chief who's now in a maximum security US prison. His daughter, Alejandrina, is handing out the supplies via her company El Chapo 701. The boxes contain oil, sugar, rice and other essential items. The company's CEO is Julio Campos.
If
we sacrifice our gross profit on each product we can help, we are not going to suffer. We will be able to refill our merchandise and people will receive our help. This is just the beginning. We know the curve of this pandemic is just starting. For Mexico, June is going to be super difficult, and we're going to continue to help.